After my mother died, my husband looked at what she left me and laughed. He called it garbage. That night, he told me to get out. I had nowhere to go except that old storage unit my mother left behind. I slept on the floor with my 2 children, and what I found inside those walls changed everything. Before I tell you what it was, make sure you like and subscribe. Now let's begin. My name is Sarah. I am 36 years old, and I am a mother of 2 children, a boy and a girl. My mother passed away on a Tuesday morning in October. I was holding her hand when she went. She didn't have much to say at the end. Just that she loved me and that she had taken care of everything. I didn't fully understand what she meant at the time. I thought she was talking about the funeral arrangements. I was wrong. 3 weeks after the burial, we gathered for the will reading. My brother Marcus sat across from me. He was already wearing a new watch. I noticed it the moment I walked in. His wife sat beside him, back straight, fingers folded in her lap like she was waiting to receive an award. My husband Richard sat next to me. He had been quiet the whole drive there. Not sad quiet, calculating quiet. The lawyer opened the file and began reading. The family home and all savings accounts will go to Marcus. My brother nodded slowly like he had expected it. His wife exhaled. My husband shifted in his seat beside me. Then the lawyer continued. The storage facility on Weston. Road will go to Sarah. The room went completely silent for a second. Then Marcus cleared his throat. His wife looked at her hands. Richard didn't move at all. On the drive home, he said nothing for the first 20 minutes. I watched the road and waited. Then he spoke. A storage unit, he said. I didn't answer. Your mother left your brother a house and gave you a building full of other people's junk? It's still property, I said quietly. He made a short sound that wasn't quite a laugh. Property, he repeated. Your brother is going to sell that house and invest. You got a storage lot on a road nobody drives down anymore. I looked out the window. I told myself he was just frustrated. I told myself he didn't mean it. That evening, my brother and his wife came over for dinner. My mother had only been gone 3 weeks, and already the mood felt different. Marcus had brought wine. His wife kept talking about renovations, about which walls they would knock down in the family home, about the kitchen they had always wanted. Richard listened closely. He laughed at the right moments. He filled their glasses. At one point, Marcus raised his glass toward Richard. Good thing one person in this family knows how to build something real, he said. Richard smiled. He didn't look at me. Later, after they left, I stood in the kitchen washing dishes. Richard came in and leaned against the counter. He wasn't angry. He was worse than angry. He was calm. You know what the difference between you and your brother is, he said. I kept washing. He builds. You collect leftovers. I turned off the tap. I turned around. Richard, I said. He held up his hand. Don't. I've been patient. Sarah, I've watched. You make small decisions your whole life. Your mother saw it too. That's why she gave him everything real. I felt something cold move through my chest. Then he said the words I had not expected. I think you should go. I stared at him. Take the kids if you want. Go stay in your storage unit since that's what you're worth. I waited for him to stop. He didn't. You heard me, he said. If that's your inheritance, go be with it. My hands were shaking when I packed the bags. I didn't let myself cry until I was in the car. My daughter sat in the back seat holding her stuffed rabbit. My son kept looking at me through the rearview mirror. Mom, where are we going? He asked. I said, just for a little while, baby. Just for a little while. The storage facility was 40 minutes outside the city. The road leading to it was unlit. I almost missed the turn. When I pulled into the lot, the motion lights flickered on one by one. The main building was a long, low structure. Concrete walls, metal doors, a small office at the front. I had only been here once before, years ago, when my mother first got the keys. I hadn't thought about it since. The office door was unlocked. My mother had left a master key in the envelope with the will documents. I found one unit near the back that was different from the others, cleaner. The door opened smoothly. Inside was not junk. It was furniture covered in sheets, boxes stacked carefully, a small folding cot in the corner. Like someone had prepared it. Like someone had known. I set up the cot for my children. I spread my coat over them. They were asleep within minutes. I sat on a wooden chair in the corner and listened to the silence. This was not where I had imagined being at. 36, not after 12 years of marriage. Not after putting Richard through his second business launch. Not after every school meeting and every dinner and every quiet sacrifice that nobody ever counted. Around midnight, I walked to the office. The lights were still on. There was a small desk, a filing cabinet, an old computer. I sat in my mother's chair. It still smelled faintly like her. I opened the top drawer. Old rental contracts, a pen, a receipt book. I opened the second drawer. More files. I don't know why I kept looking. Maybe I was angry. Maybe I just needed to feel close to her. Then I noticed something that didn't fit. On the bottom shelf beneath the desk, tucked behind a row of binders, was a metal document box. Dark green. It had a small combination lock on the front. My mother had a number she used for everything. Her anniversary date? I turned the dial. It clicked open. Inside were papers. Not rental records. Not utility bills. Legal documents. Survey maps. A sealed envelope with my name on the front written in my mother's handwriting. I sat very still for a moment. My hands felt cold. I picked up the survey map first. The storage lot was outlined in red. But there was something else marked. A thick blue line running directly through the eastern edge of the property. I didn't understand what I was looking at. I opened the first document beneath it. It was a letter from a city planning office dated 14 months ago. My mother had been sick by then. She was already in treatment. But she had received this letter, and she had kept it, and she had put it here. I read slowly. The words were technical but clear enough. Proposed commercial corridor expansion. Eastern District rezoning. Infrastructure development phase 3. My heart started moving faster. I pulled out the next document. It was a valuation report. An independent assessment of the Weston Road property. The number at the bottom made me read it twice. It wasn't the value of the storage business. It was the value of the land itself. The eastern portion of the lot sat directly in the path of the planned commercial expansion. Once the rezoning was approved, the land would be reclassified. The value would multiply, not slightly, significantly. I kept reading. At the bottom of the box was the sealed envelope. I carefully opened it. Inside was a single handwritten letter. My mother's writing was slower than I remembered. The letters slightly uneven, but her voice was completely clear. "Sarah," it said, "if you are reading this, then I am gone and you have found what I left you." I had to stop for a moment. I pressed my hand against my mouth. "I know the storage unit looks like the smaller thing. I need you to understand that it is not. I learned about the rezoning project 2 years ago from a contact at the city office. I have been watching this land quietly ever since. I chose not to sell because I wanted it to be yours. Not money in an account that could be spent or lost. Land, real. Land in the path of something big." My eyes were full of tears. She had known. She had planned this while she was sick and tired and fighting for her life. She had thought about my future while she was managing her own ending. She continued, "I gave Marcus the house because he needs things he can see and touch right away. You have always been different. You wait, you watch. You understand that some things take time to become what they are meant to be. That is not weakness, Sarah. That is the rarest kind of strength." I sat in that chair for a long time. The storage lot was not a consolation prize. It was a foundation, and nobody knew. Not Marcus. Not his wife. Not Richard. Not one person who had smiled at that will. Reading had any idea what they had dismissed. In the morning, I called the city planning office from my car while my children ate. Breakfast inside. The line rang 3 times. "Planning and development," a woman said. I gave her the property address on Weston Road. I heard typing. She paused. "Yes," she said. "That corridor is included in the Eastern Expansion project." "When does the rezoning take effect?" I asked. "Formal approval was issued last month," she said. "Commercial reclassification will be processed within the quarter." Last month. It was already done. My mother had timed this perfectly. Even from where she was, she had timed it perfectly. That afternoon, I found the name of the development, firm mentioned in the valuation report. I called the number. A man answered on the second ring. "This is James," he said. His voice was professional, unhurried. "My name is Sarah," I said. "I'm calling about the Weston Road storage property." There was a short pause. The silence had weight in it. "We've been trying to reach the owner of that property for several months," he said carefully. "The previous owner was my mother," I said. "She passed away recently." Another pause. "I'm sorry for your loss," he said. And then, slowly, "Are you available to meet this week?" We met on Thursday morning. James came with 2 colleagues. They didn't look at the storage units with any kind of pity. They walked the eastern lot carefully. They took measurements. They photographed the boundary lines. Then we sat in the office, the same office where I had sat on the floor the night Richard told me to leave. And James placed a folder on the desk. "Sarah," he said, "once the commercial corridor is complete, this location becomes one of the highest traffic access points in the Eastern District. Retail, hospitality, fuel, logistics. Multiple development groups have already submitted interest in this parcel." "I understand," I said quietly. He slid the folder forward. "We're prepared to make a formal offer today." I opened it. The number inside was more than Richard had earned in the last 8 years combined. More than my brother's house was worth. More than any of them had imagined when they looked at a concrete lot on a road nobody drives down anymore. "I'll need a few days," I said. "Of course," James replied. He smiled slightly. "Take the time you need." That Sunday I called Marcus. I told him I wanted to have dinner. Just family. He suggested the same restaurant where he and Richard had celebrated the week after the will reading. I said that was fine. When I arrived, they were already seated. Marcus looked relaxed. His wife was talking about new furniture. Richard was on his phone. He glanced up when I sat down and looked back at his screen. "Settling in at the storage lot," Marcus said with a half smile. "It's quiet," I said. "Good place to think." Richard put his phone down. "Have you figured out what you're going to do with it?" he asked. "I think so," I said. I placed a folder on the table. Marcus frowned. "What's that?" "An offer," I said. He looked at Richard. "An offer for what?" Richard asked. "For the property," I said. He almost smiled. "Who would make an offer on that place?" I slid the folder toward them. Richard opened it. His expression didn't change for 3 full seconds. Then something behind his eyes shifted. Marcus leaned over to look. His wife stopped talking about furniture. The table went very quiet. Richard read the number again. Then he looked up at me. "This can't be real," he said. "It is," I said. "And that's only the first offer." Marcus sat back slowly. His wife put her hand over her mouth. Richard closed the folder. He didn't say anything for a long moment. Then he said, "You knew?" "My mother knew," I said. "She left it to me." The waiter came and asked if we were ready to order. "Yes," I said. "I think we are." 6 weeks later, I signed the final agreement. I retained a percentage stake in the development. The remainder funded accounts for both my children that they cannot touch until they are adults. I filed for divorce the following Monday. Richard called twice that week. He didn't call me useless. He didn't call me a collector of leftovers. He just asked if we could sit down and talk. I thought about my mother sitting in that chair while she was sick, quietly planning, quietly protecting me. And I thought about my daughter sleeping on a folding cot holding her rabbit. And I thought about what it means to wait for something to become what it was. Always meant to be. I didn't call him back. Today, when I drive past the eastern lot, I can see the ground has already been broken. There are survey stakes in the soil where the old boundary fence used to run. The storage units are still standing, for now, but the land around them is changing shape, becoming something new. My mother didn't give me the smaller thing. She gave me the one that required patience to understand. And the night Richard told me I was only worth a storage unit on a road nobody drives down, he thought he was ending something. He had no idea he was standing at the beginning of everything I was about to become.